Hello Hornets and welcome to Bgsn. I'm John.
And I'm Antoine. Today is a nice sunny day with a current temperature of 58 degrees.
Yes, Antoine, it is. It was feeling a little bit chilly out this morning, but I'm glad I didn't walk because it's raining outside.
Yeah, that was pretty nice, and we'll have a full update on this week's weather with Bree here in a minute.
Along with that, we'll be talking about finals tips, the penny war update, some things that seniors will miss out, and it's coming down to the last 2 weeks of school.
We will also be taking a look at the tariffs between U.S. and China, and as always, sports with Malachi McGuire.
But first, here's Bree with this week's weather update.
Thanks, Posse. Good morning, Hornets. Today's looking a bit chilly with the high being 69 and the low being 48. Tomorrow it'll warm up a little bit with the high being 72 and the low being 52. Thursday we'll get all the way up to 78 with a low of 65, and finally Friday the high will be 81 with a low of 63. That's all for this week's weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
With graduation coming up sooner than you realize, Tiana asked some seniors what they will do and what they will miss when they are gone.
So what are you going to miss when you graduate?
I will miss most of the theater program and what kind of impact that has made on our school.
Hold on. So what are you going to miss when you graduate?
When I graduate, I'm going to miss, obviously, basketball and everyone yelling Berkeley in the hallway.
I'll miss seeing my friends. I'll probably miss playing basketball and just being around the Beach Grove community. I'll miss that a lot.
Really, I'm not going to miss a whole lot, but there is one class I'm going to miss, and that's BGSN. There's a lot of friends I have in there. Mr. White, he's my dude.
I think I'm just going to miss the friends that I see every day, and I'll definitely miss a lot of the teachers that I made strong relationships with throughout the years. So, yeah.
I'm probably going to miss all the people that I've made friendship with and everything, because I met a lot of really cool people that have built me up emotionally and physically. So when people go their separate ways, I'm probably going to feel really hurt about it, and that's probably what I'm going to have to miss the most for my BGHS career.
The National Honor Society penny war is still going on. Alexis got more.
Students, if you were not aware, the penny war is still in effect. Last week was the first week of this fundraiser, and if you have been checking your email, you would know the scores for each I Succeed. As of today, Mrs. Bryant is in first place with 11,856 points. Ms. Fangman in second place with 5,680 points, and Mrs. Barker in third place with 5,130 points. Remember, the rules are that silver coins are positive points and pennies are negative points, and you are allowed to put pennies in other I Succeeds. At the end of this week, whoever has the most points gets a prize of some sort. But this isn't just a competition either. This fundraiser is funding the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and this fundraiser does end this Friday, May 17th. This has been Alexis Whiteman from Beach Grove Student News. Back to you guys at the desk.
Next week is finals weeks, and this creates a lot of stress for students, doesn't it, Posse?
It sure does. I know plenty of people that stay up all night studying for their finals, and it really isn't good for their health.
It sure isn't. I know I'm stressing during this finals week, but thank goodness it's going to be my last one.
Same here. And same here, Antoine. Josh Parker has some good tips for your finals so you don't stay up all night studying.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost done. Just 9 school days left. That also means that finals are quickly approaching. Here's some tips to help you prepare.
My number one tip for preparing for finals is to get a good night's rest and eat a good breakfast. If you don't know it the night before, you're not going to know it for the test. So you might as well get a good night's rest so you can remember everything that you learned over the semester.
I think for finals week, a lot of students should focus and not doubt themselves, because when they lose focus, they tend to not perform as well as they should perform.
So finals are next week. You should have 2 a day. Hopefully that's the schedule that you're expecting. Some of our tips would be, honestly, prioritize. There are some that you may need a higher grade in than others to kind of balance a grade out for the semester, so prioritize those. Actually study. If you don't know how to study, maybe you could flashcards or outlines or find a study group. Ask your teacher if there's a review guide that you need to be using. I would also encourage you to actually come to school all day of those 4 days next week.
Thank you for watching. I'm Joshua Hackelman for Beech Grove Student News.
Now we're going to throw it over to Mildred McGuire for your latest sports update.
Hello Hornets and welcome back to sports. Tonight girls track will compete in their sectional, JV baseball will have a game against Greenfield Central, and girls tennis will also compete in the IHSSA sectionals. In NHL news, the Boston Bruins are currently leading the series against the Carolina Hurricanes. For the Western Conference, the St. Louis Blues and San Jose Sharks are tied at 1 win apiece. The Bruins and Hurricanes will play tonight in North Carolina, while the Blues will host the Sharks tomorrow in St. Louis. In NBA news, there is a game tonight along with the lottery as well. The game is between the Trailblazers and Golden State Warriors. This will be an interesting because both of the Currys will be facing off. The Warriors are still without KD, so this should be an interesting game. McCollum and Lillard have an average 56 points per game, shooting 38%. Game 1 is at 9. For the lottery, there are many teams with a chance of the number 1 pick. The Cavs, Knicks, and Suns have the highest chance at 14%, followed by the Bulls with 12.5%, Lakers with a 10% chance, and surprisingly, the 76ers have a 1% chance. Many think regardless of who is first, they will all want Zion. We will see tonight. The NBA playoffs are finally in conference finals mark. There are 4 teams left in it, and that is the Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors, Portland Trail Blazers, and not surprisingly, the Golden State Warriors. Here's Garrett with a more in-depth look at the second round and multiple Game 7 matchups.
The conference finals are officially starting this week, and the second round matchups are very entertaining to watch. The Raptors 76ers series ended in 7 games of a score of 92-90, and Raptors won. Boston Celtics took on the 1-seeded Bucks and lost in 5 games to Giannis Antetokounmpo dominating in the series. Houston Rockets took the Warriors to 6 games, but would fall short, losing 113-118. Finally, the Trailblazers took on the Denver Nuggets and won in another 7-game series. Down 17 at the half, they were able to bring it back in a 196 win. To go more in depth, let's start with the Celtics and Bucks series. Celtics had a strong start, winning the first game, but they weren't able to take the series by grip with poor shooting by Kyrie in games 3, 4, and 5. Series would have many people wondering what Kyrie will do in the offseason. Bucks were able to win every game after winning the series 4-1. In the Raptors 76ers series, both teams would go back and forth, leading all the way to Game 7. Game 7 was a nail-biter all the way to the final buzzer where Kawhi Leonard would hit the game winner, which is the second time since Michael Jordan single-handedly beat the Cavs in what is known as the shot in Game 5 of the 1989 first round. This series had people thinking Brett Brown would be let go for the 76ers, but as learned yesterday, the organization is planning on keeping him next year. In the Warriors-Rockets series, all games did not exceed over a 6-point deficit, meaning all games are very close. MVP candidate James Harden would really try to take the win over the Warriors, but they couldn't do it. Warriors would lose star player Kevin Durant to a right calf injury. He will miss the first game of the conference finals. In the insane Trailblazers-Nuggets matchup, the Trailblazers would upset the Nuggets in 7 games. This is the only upset occurred in the NBA playoffs so far. The Trailblazers would come back in the second half, being down by 17, with C.J. McCollum leading the way with a clutch block late game, and the Daggers stealing the Nuggets' fate. Those are your second round matchups. The conference finals start tonight and tomorrow. I'm Garrett for Bgsn.
The ongoing trade war between China and the U.S. continues. I got more on the situation with our biggest trade partner.
The trade war between the United States and China has escalated further. Both nations, which just days earlier had anticipated sealing a deal, instead took steps to raise new barriers. The Chinese government announced plans to impose tariffs on $60 billion worth of American products in retaliation for the U.S. tariffs that President Trump increased on Friday. Trump, meanwhile, began the process of expanding U.S. tariffs to cover all $540 billion in Chinese imports. That is expected to raise prices for everyday products such as cell phones, sunglasses, cameras, and television. With hopes to find a resolution, Donald Trump is meeting with the president of China in Osaka, Japan on June 28th. I love the position we're in, the president told reporters. Investors were less impressed, sending the stock market to its worst one-day performance in months. The feud between these two nations is making everyday life harder for its citizens and is about public affairs just as much as money. I'm John Pasiano, signing off from Bgsn.
That's all for today's Daily Dose of Beech Grove Student News. Make sure you follow all of us on social media, BG Student News.
And be sure to hit that subscribe and bell icon to get notified when we go live. I'm Antoine.
I'm John Pasianos. Have a terrific Tuesday, Hornets.